Relations Manager at AccessiBe and United Spinal Association board member, Josh Basile is a medical malpractice lawyer and disabilities rights advocate who serves persons with disabilities both in the courtroom and through policy initiatives. As community leader and changemaker, Josh works tirelessly to improve the quality of life of people with disabilities and to continuously break down existing barriers to access and inclusion.
Thank you, first and foremost, Josh Basile, for joining us today on AwareNow. Appreciate your time and sharing this space with us to talk.
It's great to be here today. Thank you for having me.
For sure, for sure. So here's the thing. When people think back to being 18, they think about being able to vote, being able to enlist in the military, being able to buy a lottery ticket, and maybe even win. At your age of 18, for you, Josh, it was the ability to walk that you lost. Please tell us a story of your trip to the beach that changed your life.
So I was on an annual family vacation with my family, and I was in waist-high water, turned my back to the ocean, and a wave picked me up, threw me over my boogie board, and slammed me headfirst against the ocean floor. And I remember just hearing a loud crack. And all of a sudden I was paralyzed below my shoulders, face down in the water, unable to move, unable to scream for help. And luckily my friends saw me floating and they pulled me to shore, and it was the start to a new life.
Well, that is just the power of the ocean, certainly the power of that one moment to change everything.
I woke up 14 days later in the critical unit with a ventilator in my neck. And when you have a ventilator in your neck to help you to breathe, it takes away your ability to speak. So my only way to communicate was by blinking, once for yes, twice for no. And then when I did regain my voice about 5 weeks later, that's the day I became an advocate for life. And my every word from that moment on counted. And I made sure that it had meaning, purpose, and kind of, I've been advocating ever since.
Wow. It's just amazing. So as they say, life goes on, and on you went, Josh, with your disabilities, working to secure accessibilities for one and for all. Why was it important for you to not only fight for yourself and access for you, but for everyone, for others with disabilities?
Well, power in numbers. Like if we do things together, where our voices are wheels, our stories become that much louder and more impactful. Yes, oftentimes when I'm trying to break down barriers, it's something that impacts me, but it also impacts my friends, my community members. It impacts people that I know and care that also can benefit from it. And the thing with the disability is it doesn't discriminate. It can happen to anyone at any time. And it's just really, the truth is, it's not a matter of if, but when. Disability will impact you personally, someone you care about, someone you love, and it's creating more accessibility. Just makes sense. It's good practice, it's good business, and it's good life, because we want to include everybody in society in a meaningful way.
Absolutely. When people think about accessibility for people with disabilities, they tend to think products, services, facilities. That's what usually comes to mind. And while physical access is absolutely needed and required, it's digital access that is also needed. When we talk about the fact that it's only 3% of websites, being accessible, how does that impact 15% of the world's population? Here, 25% in the United States, 1 out of every 4 living with some kind of disability. How are they affected by this inaccessibility?
They oftentimes, they're just not kind of welcomed in the same way as everyone else to have the same experiences, to benefit from the products, services, and experiences that a website is trying to offer to the world. And with your unique abilities, you might be stuck on the first page of a website. You might not be able to understand what that picture is saying. You might not be able to just be able to truly benefit from everything that it's offering, and then you're stuck there. And we want to make sure that everybody can go from A to Z to be able to get the information they need, the products they need, just like everyone else. And being able to bring accessibility just opens the door to opportunity and better futures for the people that are visiting, but also the businesses that want to have more customers. No business ever wants to say, you know what, we don't want 15% more customers. That's not what they're in for. Right. So it's a matter of seeing this as an opportunity, a best practice. It's good business, and it's also going to help a lot of people.
Right. And the thing of it is that many people fear what they don't know or understand. So when it comes to the discussion of digital accessibility, that digital accessibility gap, most people don't know where to begin. And so they're afraid to start. So Josh, here enters AccessiBe, for which you are the community relations manager. How is AccessiBe using technology to close that gap?
Before even using technology, it's raising awareness. It's having the right conversations. It's doing what we're doing here today. If we don't talk about it, we can't learn about it. We can't, find out where we're at and do better. So one of the big things to know where you're at from a technology standpoint, accessibe.com/accessscan has the ability for you to put your URL of your website in and scan your site to show you where you're doing great and where you're doing poorly and where you can improve. You know where you can improve or what you need to do, where you stand. That gives you options, that gives you choices. And then one of the incredible technologies that they've created is an AI-powered solution called an Access widget, which could go on your site, scans your site, finds all the different areas that there are accessibility barriers, and helps to fix it and to be able to create more accessibility and usability on your site. By putting code into your site. And it's able to use that artificial intelligence and software to do the hard work day in, day out. And then there's also different things that they're doing to bring more accessibility natively if a business wants to create a website from scratch, or developers want to create a website from scratch. So it's understanding kind of there are different approaches to bringing accessibility to your site, but it's finding a company like AccessiBe that's really trying to do as much good as possible to make sure customers, businesses of all sizes know that they have somebody that they can turn to bring accessibility to their websites.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing of it is that once you're aware, you need to act. And if we aren't part of the solution, we're part of the problem. All that said, we don't have to be perfect. We just need to be better, right? So as long as we're on the path, that's where we need to be.
It's just doing something today. Starting, you have to start somewhere, and it's your business is a journey. Accessibility is a journey. It's not one of those things that you flip one switch, you check one box, and it's done. Accessibility is something that you want to build in over time because you want to include all customers. So we got to start somewhere, and it's AccessiBe is doing so much to make sure that every business has a choice and that there's scalable solutions, and to make that 3% number that you said of websites on the internet that are accessible to 5% to 10% to 25 to 50, someday hopefully to 100. And that will be a different world then.
It will be a different world. It'll be a better world. Thank you so much for sharing. And like you say, like where to start. I can share, with Awareness Ties that we did our check. We said, because you don't know what you don't know until you know, right? So the instant learning that you can get to say, this is where it's broken, this is where we can fix it. What a gift that is. I guess that's what I would encourage people to do, is say to not be afraid of what's not right, but just to explore it and to know that you don't have to know the solution right then, just to know that you're on the path to find it. Is there anything more that you could say to people who are just learning for the first time that, need to do this, didn't realize? anything more to say to them to help wake them up?
It's smart business. So often, business owners want to do more, bring in more customers, want to make their customers feel valued. There's no greater way to do that than with bringing accessibility to your business's website. It's so important to recognize that people with disabilities, when they're taken care of, they come back again and again as repeat customers. For that 3% number that you said, if you're part of that 3%, people with disabilities come back again and again to those sites because they're welcome, they're treated right, and they spend their dollars there. And we're talking about billions of dollars, and just in the US alone with people with disabilities. 1 in 4 in the US adults are living with some form of disability. We're talking about huge numbers. You're following the rules and regulations for compliance purposes. So it's just, I can't emphasize enough to businesses to do it now, and to start this journey now, because you need to do it. It's going to help you.
Right, absolutely. And so many things I love that you said. One of them was that, it's not just a matter of checking a box, that this is a process, it's a journey. And just to be part of it, not to, simply be there to check boxes. And the other thing that you said, to say that it's not, when it comes to disability, it's not if, it's when. It's when. And so for all of us to be aware of that, and just to be ahead of the game and be there in the game for those who are already there. Thank you so much for sharing what you have and for the incredible work and advocacy that you're doing, Josh. It's so important. We're proud and honored to join you in that advocacy and to share your story and to share the work that AccessiBe is doing. And we're excited. Thank you for helping all of us become a bit more aware now.
Thank you for having this conversation with me, and for your audience to be listening to this and to experience this. And we're in this together. We really are, all of us. We live in this beautiful world, and we need to make it that much more beautiful, that much more inclusive. And AccessiBe, we all can do it together.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.